Well, I am going to repeat what I said about 48 hours ago. I think it was the day before yesterday. I said, it looks like we might get a nice sunrise this morning. Now, there aren't any clouds, so it's not going to be spectacular. And then, if I remember right, I did not show the sunrise. So here it is quickly, what happened 48 hours ago. Now, I can't show you today's because it hasn't happened yet. It's probably going to happen in about 25 minutes. Anyway, let's continue on here. I did not come back to the model table last night, so I don't really have much of a rollback, but the only thing I did do was I went out and I put fresh carrots out for the rabbits. I don't know if I'm going to bother showing that or not. I mean, I know there's people like to see that, but it's getting kind of old, you might say. Okay, our sun is up about half an hour ago or so, and here we are in step 76, and we're going to do our number 15s here. Now I realize we're going to have to move our ship a little bit further forward because where these go is probably near the aft section. This would be mid, this would be mid-aft, and this would be aft. I don't know what they would call it anyway. There's probably an official nautical term for ships of this size for a section right here. But anyway, okay, about the sunrise. When I was editing out the opening scene there, I was thinking about a message that our friend Kevin Waterman had sent to me. You didn't see it. It was he sent it on Facebook, and anyway, he sent a picture that somebody had done of sunrises, and they were layered one on top of the other over a period of 12 months. It's very similar to the photo that I showed a little over 6 months ago when we were doing the longest day of the year sunrises. Only I was thinking about how this morning's sunrise was almost identical to the one 48 hours ago. And so I think what I'm going to do, just for the fun of it, is I'm going to have both sunrises running at exactly the same time of day, and just show the comparison. We're not going to see a big difference. In fact, what's interesting will be how similar they are. At least I think they will be. It could be that when we see both of them at the same time, we'll realize that, oh yeah, there is a difference. But anyway, enough rambling on about sunrises. It could be worse. I could be talking about rabbits, right? Okay, just let me drag this forward here and recompose, and we'll... yeah, it looks like they plug into holes that should be right on the side of the superstructure right there. Okay, let me rearrange here. Now, the reason I have these flotation devices here is to remind me that we can stick those on in this step as well. So maybe after we get our 15s on, we can see if we can bend one of these into shape. It's going to actually have to be adjusted just very, very slightly. Now I've got to be careful I don't squeeze on it too hard. It is extremely delicate. Okay, now you can see there's a positioning pin on the bottom there. And one of these is going to plug into this hole, the other one's going to plug into this hole, and our flotation device is somehow going to go onto that. You notice there's a couple of brackets. Now I didn't notice that until just a moment ago, so that's going to make it easy to figure out where it's supposed to go. Now I can well imagine that the hole that we're supposed to be putting this into is probably full of paint. And I'm noticing my railing is bent here. Did I just do that now? I don't think so. I think we're probably going to find bent railing all over the place before we get this thing in the case. Just trying to straighten up that rail there. It looks a little better, at least from my perspective. It's kind of funny. Sometimes I'll adjust something and I'll think it looks just right, and then I'll move 45 degrees and look at it the other way, and I can see I made it worse instead of better. Anyway, let's let's move in a little bit here. I think that maybe what I'm going to do is, so that I don't have the glue run down and wick its way into this number 22, because this number 22 does stain quite readily. Do you notice that there's a bit of a stain along the bottom right here? But it looks okay. It almost looks like some kind of weathering going on. So I'm just going to leave that. I'm not going to paint over that. It actually looks good. At least I think it is. Let's say it looks good. How about that? All right. So let's get these in place here. I'll just reposition a little bit so we're in a little bit closer. Okay, here's what's happened. I've measured the positioning pin, and it's just a little under 40,000ths of an inch in diameter. And then I found a bit that was about the same size, maybe a smidgen bigger. And my thinking is, why don't I just drill that paint out? And I don't have to go in very far. And then I don't need to try and force that pin in. It should work. So we're just going to use our Tamiya electric drill here that we built, 3-4 months ago now? That should work. Now this should just sort of fit right in there. Yeah, look at that. So it's going to take very little glue. Now, is it possible for Ron Calverley to do just a little bit of glue? I don't think so. Okay, this is the glue I'm going to use here. This is not the extra thin. It's the regular thicker stuff, the one that has the big applicator that nobody likes. And if I can get the lid off. Okay, now I'm thinking that maybe the smart thing to do here, instead of trying to apply the glue to the hole, and risk it running down the side of the superstructure, why don't I just try and apply just a very, very small amount to these two places where they, like, where's Mr. T's pointing device here? Okay, so we got this obvious one right here, but then right there's a bracket that goes up against the side, so I want to try and get a little bit of glue on that as well. Now, the key word is just a little bit. And I'm wondering if maybe I should see. Look at the size of this applicator. Like what were they thinking? Okay, just hang on a second here. Okay, it's a good thing that I can cut out the dead spots. Alright, now I'm just going to have to twist that around so I can put it straight in. probably could have got away with less glue. Story of my life. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Okay, let's live dangerously here. We know where it's going to come. Maybe that's too much. Might run. What do you think? Now, I don't think that this has the shrinking that the extra thin has. Like when the extra thin, I think that there's going to be a slight amount of residue there. I can see that I'm probably going to have to go around, well, maybe, yeah, to get rid of the glinting. I definitely want to get rid of the glinting. That glinting is what really spoils it. Now, I don't think I need to be holding it. I think it's going to stay there okay. We'll check it out after a while. All right, let's move on to that other part there that we have to put on the flotation device. Okay, so here's what's happening. I think it was Allison I was mentioning too that there's a good possibility that the pizza days might be over, at least for a while. And okay, don't poke at it now. And the reason for that is because I'm finding it too hard to have it in the fridge and not eat it. So today is pizza day, and you can hear the pizza music going. But we're going to just have a salad today, and probably the most caloric thing that we're going to be having on the salad is the all brand buds that I'm using as croutons. Okay, I'll probably eat all of those. So if I eat all of them, it'll be how many did we have here? 278 calories worth of all brand buds there. That's about half of it. Now, what I've got going on here, it looks like something that I should be arrested for owning, but what it is, it's dandelion tea leaves. Now, I've done this before. They don't really add a whole lot of flavor, but there's supposed to be a nutritional factor in or value in dandelion tea or dandelion leaves, and that's what this is. So I'm just going to mix it all together here, and I know it's sort of a odd combination, but anyway, that's it for pizza day for today. And now I'm going to take this into the computer room and edit out the video that you have already seen. Yeah, I needed to take a bit of a break here. It's if you want to know what time it is, you can't see the clock, but it is only 11:27 in the morning. But I hunger got the best of me here. Okay, all the video that you just saw is edited. Now, I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it does to me at the moment. Now, these things, the other two davits go on the other side. only one of these goes on this side and the other one goes on the other side. I'm going to do the other side off camera. It's just going to be a mirror image of this side. All right, now these have to be folded a little bit more. These were something that I can delicately pick this up with here. Just don't squeeze too hard now. Now you notice there's these two little parts sticking out the top there. Well, they have to be folded sort of at right angles and go up against the side of the ship. When we move in, you'll see. Yeah. Oh, those dandelion tea leaves. They're from the tea bags. When I baked myself a cup of dandelion tea, I'd save the tea bag. So they were, I don't know what the caloric value is of them, but I'm guessing it's practically zero, so I didn't include it. I didn't, in fact, I Googled it and I couldn't find anything about how many calories there was in used dandelion tea leaves. I'm probably the only one in the world that did what I just did. But no, I don't think so. Anyway, let's just sort of move in here and take a look at this and see how we're supposed to bend those. I think I already know. I just have to be careful here. Now, we almost had a disaster here. And this is what happened. Remember I said I just have to be careful? And then I set this piece on the manual. Then I went and got my floodlight, which I'm using right now to cast a shadow so that these raised things will show up good. And I came back to the model table and sat down, and I moved the manual, forgetting that I had put this piece on the manual. Well, it fell on the floor. And after that, I did a lot of moving around. And I did not step on it. Anyway, you can see here how those flat pieces are supposed to go in those slots. But this piece is supposed to mount at a bit of an angle, like this. And I guess the idea was that the flotation device is supposed to come dropping out of the bottom of this cage, probably some sort of a release. And it would drop into the water and probably immediately start glowing or whatever it did. Anyway, we have to bend those little brackets that I'm just touching right now. Two ways. We bend them back, and then we bend the flat. We bend the flat part so it'll fit in those slots. So I'm just going to sort of kind of eyeball it. I think we can get it right. I don't know if I can do it on camera or not. Now, I don't think this is the sort of thing that we can easily use Andy's photo etch bender, because everything sort of wants to bend the other way. I think I might actually be better off doing it on the green cloth. And yeah, I'm just going to reposition on the cloth here, and we'll do it that way. Okay, there's a little mark right there. If I can keep it over that mark, it should be in everybody's field of view. Now, we want to bend these up. You know what, maybe the Tamiya photo etch bender might work better. It'd be more flat. Just hang on a second, I'll get it. Where's that mark? Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, here we come. Now I don't want to bend the wrong part here. Alright, Now these little tabs, I don't know if I should try and do two at the same time. I wonder if I can. Will I get my angle just a little bit differently here? Where's that mark? Oh, there it is. Oh, I gotta... You know, I'm probably better off doing this off camera. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this off camera, and then I'll show it to you after. Okay, I think I've got everything at the right angle. I haven't tried it yet. We'll be seeing it together. Okay, let's go give it a whirl and see what happens here. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we could lay the ship on its side and let gravity be our friend? And it would just sort of... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way it's supposed to go. Let's just take a look at the manual there. Is it? Yeah, if I put those in like that. Now, is this top piece supposed to be the same height as the top rail, and I have to maybe bend them just a little bit more? Is that the way it's supposed to go? Let's see if we can. I did see a picture of this thing. Yeah, I was sure I'd remembered seeing it here in John Roberts' book, and it's the very first photograph in the series of photos. And this is it right here. I'll see if I can swing the camera around and look more directly down on it. But we're going to notice two things when we see it. Okay, the first thing we're going to notice here is that the top of it is actually the same height as the rail. Now, I know this isn't a very good picture. Now, actually, it's probably a really good picture for its time. I don't know when this was taken, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The second thing we're going to notice, you notice the orientation of the device inside the cage. It's you might say horizontal or perpendicular. I've got it at a 45-degree angle, like an X. So I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I don't think anybody else has noticed it, or I probably would have received a comment, and I think I would remember having read that. So, being as that none of you experts have noticed this, neither will anybody else. But we have to position it so that the top of the cage is at the same height as the railing. I guess what would happen is maybe the guys that come along, and they would, you know, reach down, and there'd be some sort of a latch, and this whole thing would just drop into the ocean. Okay, we've had enough stressfulness going on for the last few minutes. Let's do something a little bit more relaxing, like the rabbits. Yeah, you remember yesterday I had to do the snowblower thing? Well, I went down the rabbit path even though the snow wasn't very deep. But when I was going down, I was sort of watching, like, where are the carrots? Couldn't really see any. So I thought I'd better put fresh carrots out anyway, which I did. Now, you remember last time I put out the fresh carrots, the rabbits came by pretty quick. But last night, it took about, I think it was around 3:20 in the morning before the first one came by. But once again, at least one came by. Now, this is actually the first time I'm trying this. I'm trying to rig up a jig here. Okay, now we want to have my tweezer's in the road. I'm going to have to reposition the tweezer. Okay. Now, it's got to go a little bit to the right. Okay, I can see that I'm going to have to bend those little brackets. I wonder if I could bend them up after I glue it to the railing. Probably break the railing off. Okay, I'm just going to have to readjust that. Whoops, bumped my jig. Oh. You know what? We're going to have to do this in tomorrow's video. Yeah. I had wanted to work on those two sunrises yet this afternoon, and right now it's 6 minutes after 2. And yeah, I'm going to call it quits for this video. I will work at it later this afternoon, and it'll be in tomorrow's rollback. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.